Welcome to Minnesota Explore, a podcast dedicated to bringing you a new adventure somewhere in Minnesota with every episode. Each week, we'll travel to a different destination, from scenic state parks and beautiful lakes to fascinating cities, historic places, and hidden gems across the state. If you love discovering new places and planning your next adventure, follow the podcast so you never miss an episode and stop by minnesotaexplorer.com for handpicked places to explore and gear recommendations that help keep the show going. Now, let's explore Minnesota. Today, we're heading to the southeastern corner of Minnesota, deep into what locals call Bluff country, to a place that has earned a reputation far bigger than its population of fewer than 900 people. We're talking about Lanesboro, Minnesota. Tucked into a steep valley carved by the Root River and surrounded by dramatic limestone bluffs, Lanesboro sits about 120 miles southeast of Minneapolis and roughly 40 miles south of Rochester. If you've never been, that drive south on Highway 52 is itself a preview of what's waiting for you. Rolling farmland giving way to winding roads and ridgetop views as you drop into the valley where Lanesboro has been quietly charming visitors for well over a century. So why would you make the trip? Because Lanesboro has genuinely earned every accolade it's received. Forbes once called it one of America's prettiest towns, and it has been recognized nationally as one of a small handful of small communities that deeply and authentically supports the arts while maintaining a vibrant, walkable downtown. It's been dubbed the bed and breakfast capital of Minnesota, and it proudly calls itself the rhubarb capital of the state, a title they take very seriously, as we'll get to in a bit. This episode is ideal for just about anyone who has ever felt the urge to slow down, couples looking for a romantic weekend, outdoor enthusiasts who love cycling, hiking, fishing, or paddling, history buffs, art lovers, foodies, and families with kids who can handle a few miles on a bike trail. Lanesboro is one of those rare destinations that manages to have something genuinely wonderful for each of those groups, all within a few square blocks and a few miles of trail. Let's start at the beginning. Lanesboro's story goes back to 1856, when the first settlers arrived in the Root River Valley, drawn by fertile farmland and the promise of a flowing river to power mills. The town was officially founded in 1869, a date that still appears proudly on the town's welcome sign. The origin of the name itself is a bit of a debate. Many credit F.A. Lane an early landowner, while others point to alternative roots. Whatever its origin, the name stuck, and the young town wasted no time making its mark. One of the most enduring landmarks from those early years is the Lanesboro Stone Dam, completed in 1868, a year before the town was even officially incorporated. That dam powered sawmills and gristmills along the Root River and still stands today as one of only 6 gravity arch dams remaining in the entire United States. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and when you see it framed by the river and the thick green bluffs behind it, it's not hard to understand why the early settlers decided this was the place. With the arrival of the railroad, Lanesboro blossomed into a full-fledged commercial hub. Victorian homes, brick storefronts, and churches went up along its streets, and much of that architecture is still standing today. The town's historic downtown looks, in many ways, like a well-preserved 19th century postcard. Passenger trains connected Lanesboro to larger cities, and for a time the town was a legitimate center of commerce and culture for the region. Like many small towns, Lanesboro hit harder times as rail service declined through the mid-20th century. The trains that had built the town's economy eventually stopped running, leaving behind empty rail corridors and economic uncertainty. But what happened next is one of the great small-town comeback stories in Minnesota history. In the 1970s, a bold idea began taking shape. What if that abandoned rail line became a trail? What if the corridor that once carried freight and passengers instead carried cyclists and hikers through the bluffs and valleys of southeastern Minnesota? That vision became reality when the Root River State Trail was completed in the late 1980s. The paved trail stretches roughly 60 miles through the region, and it changed everything for Lanesboro. Cyclists, outdoor enthusiasts, and weekend travelers discovered the town, and a new economy began to grow around tourism, hospitality, and the arts. The bed and breakfast capital of Minnesota was born. There's also an interesting connection between Lanesboro and one of the most famous names in American history, Buffalo Bill Cody. William Buffalo Bill. Cody made visits to the Lanesboro area in the 1870s, and his legacy looms large here. A bluff overlooking the town bears his name, and one of the town's biggest summer celebrations is called Buffalo Bill Days. It's a fun piece of local lore and gives the town a colorful thread connecting it to the Wild West era. Lanesboro's arts identity also crystallized over time with the founding of the Lanesboro Art Council and the arrival of professional theater. Today, those institutions are central to the town's identity and draw visitors from across the Midwest. All right, let's talk about what to do once you get there, because there is a lot. The crown jewel of outdoor activity in Lanesboro is, without question, the Root River State Trail. 60 miles of paved trail winding through southeastern Minnesota's driftless region, passing through small towns, crossing wooden bridges over the Root River, and tracing the base of limestone bluffs that turn absolutely spectacular in the fall. The trail runs right through downtown Lanesboro, making it incredibly convenient. You don't need to load your bikes on a car rack and drive somewhere. You can walk out of your hotel or bed and breakfast, step onto the trail, and go. If you need a bike, the Little River General Store is the place to go. They rent bikes, including e-bikes for those who want to cover more ground, with a little help, and they can shuttle you so you can do a one-way ride without backtracking. The trail is mostly flat, following the old rail grade along the river, so it's accessible to a wide range of fitness levels. That said, if you want a longer or more ambitious ride, there's plenty of trail to challenge you. In summer, the Root River itself becomes the attraction. You can rent a tube from the Little River General Store and float the river. Trips range from about an hour to 3.5 hours, depending on how far you go. Kayaking and canoeing are also popular. The access point is right near the downtown waterfalls, and the shuttle service makes logistics simple. Fly fishing on the Root River is legendary in these parts. The river is a designated trout stream, cold and clear, and the fishing is serious enough that there's an entire shop dedicated to it, Root River Rod Company, tucked into a classic downtown storefront. For hikers, the bluffs surrounding Lanesboro offer some spectacular overlooks. Inspiration Point, accessible if you head south on the historic Bluff Country Scenic Byway, delivers a panoramic view that really puts the driftless landscape in perspective. The 88-mile Bluff Country Scenic Byway is itself worth a slow drive. It passes through Lanesboro, Wayland, Peterson, and other small towns, and gives you a real sense of this unique landscape that was bypassed by the glaciers that flattened most of the Midwest. Sylvan Park sits right in town along the Root River and is a lovely spot for a picnic, with the Stone Dam nearby providing a genuinely scenic backdrop. The park also has a campground available from May through November if you want to stay right in town on a budget. Beyond the outdoor scene, Lanesboro has built one of the most impressive small-town arts cultures you'll find anywhere in Minnesota. The Commonweal Theater Company is the anchor of it all, a professional theater company that has been performing since 1989 in a historic downtown venue with 126 seats. People travel from across the Midwest specifically to see shows here. The Commonweal performs 5 productions each season with over 180 performances, running Thursday through Saturday evenings, Sunday matinees, and in summer and fall, Saturday matinees and Monday evenings as well. If you're planning a trip around a show, book early because seats go fast. Lanesboro Arts operates out of the St. Main Theater and is home to a premier gallery that hosts rotating exhibitions, 5 per season in the exhibition gallery, and a juried sales gallery showcasing work by nearly 100 artists from Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. They also host live music events and a live radio show called Over the Back Fence, which is exactly as charming as it sounds. You'll notice murals on building walls as you walk around downtown. Visual art is woven into the fabric of the place. Several pottery studios and working artist studios operate in and around town, opening during events like the Bluff Country Studio Art Tour and the Lanesboro Area Art Trail. Both worth planning around if you're an art enthusiast. If you're interested in local history, the Lanesboro Historical Museum is right downtown. 3 floors of exhibits cover the culture and heritage of the community, from old farm equipment and wedding dresses to theater posters and, yes, a baseball signed by Babe Ruth. There's an interactive phone booth outside the museum where you can hear stories from Lanesboro's past. It's a fun and accessible entry point to the town's history, especially if you have kids. The Lanesboro Talking Trail is another option, a self-guided, interactive tour that brings history and culture to life at your own pace using your phone. One of the more unique cultural experiences near Lanesboro is the opportunity to explore Amish heritage. Lanesboro sits near one of the larger Amish communities in Minnesota, And Bluffscape Amish Tours offers guided excursions through the countryside with stops at Amish farms and shops, including a bakery. Tours run Monday through Saturday, depart from the Stone Mill Hotel, and last about 3 hours. If you want to understand a side of rural Minnesota that most people drive right past, this is a wonderful way to do it. Just about 12 minutes outside of town is Niagara Cave, a stunning underground cave system that's been open to visitors for over 100 years. Stalactites, stalagmites, underground pools, and passageways make it an unforgettable experience, especially for families. Mystery Cave, Minnesota's longest-known cave system with over 13 miles of underground passages, is also within easy driving distance and offers guided tours. Now let's talk about festivals, because Lanesboro takes its events seriously. The Rhubarb Festival is one of the most beloved, a celebration of the town's self-proclaimed title as Rhubarb Capital of Minnesota, complete with tastings, games, music, and a tasting contest where you can vote for your favorite rhubarb creation. It is exactly as delightfully quirky as it sounds. Buffalo Bill Days is the town's big summer celebration, honoring the historical connection between the famous showman and the town. Art in the Park, now in its 45th year in 2026, brings over 100 fine art and craft artists together in Sylvan Park each June. Experience the Magic of Lanesboro is a beloved winter event that turns the town into a seasonal destination when it might otherwise feel quiet. The town hosts over 15 events and festivals throughout the year, so there's nearly always something happening. For a hidden gem that most visitors miss, keep an eye out for the Big Springs Farm just outside of town. In the fall, it becomes a full pumpkin patch experience with a corn maze, giant slide, animals, a tractor ride, and a charming shop. It's a wonderful addition to a fall day that might otherwise center on the trail and the fall foliage. And about 5 miles up the trail in the tiny town of Wayland, population 62, you'll find the Aroma Pie Shop, which is, by all accounts, one of the best pie destinations in the state. It's a seasonal operation, generally open Memorial Day weekend through the fall, and pies sell out fast on busy weekends. Plan your rides around a stop there. Speaking of food, let's talk about where to eat and drink in Lanesboro. Juniper's Restaurant has become one of the top dining destinations in the region. Chef and owner Tyler Shipton brings serious culinary training, including years as an executive chef in top Minneapolis and San Diego kitchens, to a scratch-made, fast casual concept right on the Root River. The menu rotates seasonally, but smash burgers and fresh handmade pasta are fan favorites, and the riverside setting is beautiful. Juniper's is seasonal, running from spring through late fall, and they recommend reservations for dinner service. It's well worth planning your trip around. Pedal Pushers Cafe is a local institution, open daily and a great option for lunch or dinner, particularly after a morning on the trail. Made from scratch cooking featuring locally grown meats and produce with grain bowls, burgers, sandwiches, and salads, plus gluten-free and vegetarian options. The setting is casual and welcoming, and it's exactly the kind of place that just feels right in a town like Lanesboro. The Lanesboro Pastry Shop is a must. It's a true step-back-in-time experience, cash only, no printed menu, and you just tell them what you're in the mood for, and they make it. Stuffed French toast with almond syrup, biscuits, and sausage gravy, fresh-baked pastries out of the case. That kind of place is increasingly rare, and it's worth every penny. Root River Unwind at 102 Coffee Street is a great option if you're looking for a wine bar experience in town. A relaxed spot with a focus on local and regional products, shareable plates, craft cocktails, and outdoor patio seating alongside a water feature. A fine place to decompress after a day of cycling or exploring. Sylvan Brewing opened in 2020 in a beautifully converted historic granary in downtown Lanesboro and has been going strong ever since. Founded by Karen and Andy Heimdahl, it's Lanesboro's first brewery in over a century, and it has delivered. Year-round hours, a fire pit, and heated outdoor patio for the colder months. Live music in summer, and a range of well-crafted beers that have earned a loyal following. If you're combining a bike ride with a cold beer on a warm afternoon, Sylvan Brewing fits that bill perfectly. For coffee, Paddle on Coffee and Maker Emporium is a downtown gathering spot that has become a genuine community hub, a modern coffee house with great espresso, breakfast, and grab-and-go food, a curated selection of handmade goods from local artisans, and a warm atmosphere with a fireplace. It's the kind of place that defines a small town's character. And as we mentioned, don't skip the Aroma Pie Shops in Yalen, which is open seasonally. Make the 5-mile bike ride part of the plan. Get there early if you can because the most popular flavors go fast. Now let's talk about where to stay because Lanesboro's lodging scene is genuinely part of the attraction. The Stone Mill Hotel and Suites is one of the most distinctive places to stay in town. Built in 1885 by an early Minnesota state senator, the historic stone building has been converted into a boutique hotel with rooms and suites that each reflect the heritage of the building and the charm of Lanesboro. Options range from standard rooms to suites with iron claw fireplaces and two-person whirlpool tubs. The hotel includes an expanded continental breakfast featuring locally baked pastries, and it serves as the departure point for Bluffscape Amish tours. It's centrally located, steps from the Commonwealth Theater, the Trail, and downtown shops. Hotel Lanesboro represents the newer, more contemporary side of Lanesboro lodging. 9 rooms outfitted with stylish modern furnishings while still honoring the historic character of the building. If you prefer a cleaner, more design-forward aesthetic alongside the town's historic charm, this is a compelling option. The Cottage House Inn is a family-owned and operated hotel that hits the sweet spot for comfort and value. 13 standard rooms and 2 apartment suites, a coffee room open all day, and a location within easy walking distance of the trail, the theater, and downtown. It's a welcoming, unpretentious place that has been a reliable choice for Lanesboro visitors since 1993. Note that it operates seasonally. Check their website for current open dates before booking. The bed and breakfast options in Lanesboro are genuinely special and are a big part of why the town earned its signature title. The James A. Thompson House, built in 1870, is one of the oldest in town and retains its original curved staircase, crown molding, and stained glass windows overlooking the Root River. The Scandinavian Inn traces its roots to Norwegian immigrant Ole Haberstad and carries that heritage forward beautifully. The historic Scanlon House Bed and Breakfast Inn is another beloved option, and Oakenwald Terrace has been celebrated as one of Minnesota's top places for a honeymoon or romantic getaway. Each of these properties serves a morning meal, often featuring ingredients from local farms and markets. Staying in one of these Victorian B&Bs is an experience in itself. For families or those who want a more outdoorsy stay, Eagle Cliff Campground and Lodging offers camping and lodging options in a scenic setting, and Sylvan Park in town has a campground with tent and RV sites available from May through November. Cedar Valley Resort, just outside of town along the Root River and the bike trail, offers beautiful log cabins that sleep multiple guests and is open year-round, a wonderful option for families or groups. One important practical note, Lanesboro's lodging books up quickly, especially on summer and fall weekends. If you're planning a trip, particularly around a festival or a Commonwealth show, get your reservations in well ahead of time. Many properties also require a 2-night minimum on weekends, so plan accordingly. That brings us to the end of today's episode. Before you go, a few quick things. Subscribe so you never miss a destination, leave us a positive review to help others find the show, share this episode with someone who loves exploring Minnesota, and visit minnesotaexplorer.com for travel tips, gear, and everything from today's adventure. Your support there helps make this show possible. Thanks for joining us, and happy trails.